Welcome back to another video. This time we're looking at Blur, a buy trade that's potentially forming. As always, we're looking on the daily time frame. Let's jump straight into it. We've highlighted our zones because we see price action being respected in these areas. Price seems to like this area. It's a range, and if we're certainly looking for a long, this is the area of interest for us at the moment. We have seen a low here, higher low, and higher low. From a structure perspective, that's pretty good. Now, if I look at horizontals, oh my god, my horizontal lines are terrible. Let me introduce it with something a little bit more formal. That is our local high, which you can see it has, when I say it, price action has smashed through there, come back, pulling back here, and now resting in our zone of interest, which is why we think that this Blur USDT trade could be a potential trade for going long. Let's jump into the 4 hour, where we do like to take our trades, simply being because there is a lot more room for a trade to actually run. So let's have a closer look at our local highs there. It was trending down. If we look at this as the momentum line, momentum was broke just at this critical point, which did act as support before. It's now gone up. It's retested that, and then shot up, now pulling back, gone up to test our local highs again. If you look to the left, it's having and forming another zone of interest. It's kind of in the midway. If I put a line there and put a line here, it's kind of in the midway. We'll never want to take a trade when price is in a mid zone. If you do, you definitely want to be reducing your position size, and you are probably better off waiting for a better entry. From an entry perspective, we are looking to go long, and our ideal setup is somewhere around here. If price doesn't come back, then we would be looking at a setup around about here. Again, so slightly higher, but just so that we want to get into the trade, we're looking for price to come back, tap this liquidity, price pool here, and then go back up. We drew out the potential range of our local high, where we did see price action being respected there. From a risk to reward ratio, let's check on that. That's a 1 to 3, or just over 3 risk to reward from a trade setup. For us, that's still an aggressive entry. We would want price to come further down into our zone and then take the trade. But I'm just giving you two different scenarios. If you want to be or take an aggressive entry, you could certainly do that with a reward of 1 to 3 or just over. If not, then you'd best to wait, let price come closer to our entry, and then see how it's going to react. Is it going to respect this zone and therefore go up? You can aim for a conservative entry here with a tighter stop loss, or you could have a bigger stop loss and then aim for potentially this area. So we always want to take our nearest price action, and in this case it is around that space. However, having said that, there's a whole pool of liquidity or imbalance that price needs to recapture. Let's say from here, all of this area price needs to come back up to, So we are potentially, let's make this a bit more formal. We'll do a trade update, of course. So I want to grab that price action, put it here. Let's make it up to, where did we say? This one here. And our first aggressive entry would be there. So from an entry perspective, this is a 1 to 4. This is a 1 to 5, well, nearly 1 to 6. And we are aiming for this pool here. If we get stopped out, that's fine. Happy to take on that risk. I will try to catch it again in and around on this second one with this bigger trade profit potential, and then potentially ladder back in if I see a setup and price respecting this zone. If I look at it from a measurement perspective, if price moved from here, if price moved from our entry point, that's a 9% trade. If we moved it from our desired entry point, that's a 19% move. Now we know crypto can move. We especially know that these smaller coins can move very aggressively. But yeah, I think there's a huge potential on this trade setup with very little risk. Just to paint a fuller picture, if we were going to go on a smaller time frame, then let's quickly move this aside. Then what we're looking at is an entry I would like over here with a small risk to reward ratio and just target the local high. Again, that is a 1 to 4 risk to reward trade, that is. But it's a matter of just waiting, making sure that we're not rushing the trade, and timing it really, also holding it. Obviously a 1 hour trade takes a lot more hands-on trade management, and our areas of profit taking are a lot more closer just because of the volatility in price. The higher you go up from a time frame perspective, the more structure the price action gives an indication of its strength. So yeah, that's the buy setup on Blur USDT. If you like this setup, do subscribe, give us a like, but more importantly, join our Discord where there's a community of traders all discussing this trade and different other trades and sharing their trade ideas. Not financial advice, entertainment purposes only, but check us out. Thank you.